Evening all. So welcome everyone to episode 15, Shark Attack Case Files. So today we are going to go to the Indian Ocean, and those of you who follow shark attacks will probably know where I'm headed even before I get there. We're going to go have a look at La Réunion, or Réunion Island, which is a French island just off the coast of Madagascar, about 110 miles away from Mauritius. So this pair of islands, like a twin set of islands, they're formed over a volcanic hotspot on this plate. So as the plate moves, hotspot stays still and creates these volcanic islands. So very, very similar type of island, and the makeup, the types of rock, geography, bathymetry, all the rest of it, very, very similar. Wildlife, but they share one stark difference, and that is the frequency of shark attacks. And it's actually quite astonishing, the difference, how two islands can be so similar but so different in shark attack statistics. So Mauritius has actually only ever had 10 documented shark attacks, and there has actually been 3 fatal instances, but to be honest, these are really, I would almost discount these, because I think one was like 300 miles offshore. One was just a guy fell overboard of a boat in like 1864 or something. The other was like a sea disaster. So to me, there's been no real, nearshore proper, what you would consider like an archetypal great white shark or bull shark or tiger shark attack off Mauritius. And yes, I mentioned they're only 110 miles apart, but in stark contrast, La Réunion, or Reunions, had actually 65 documented attacks and a huge number of fatalities, 34 fatalities, and 20 fatalities since 2000. And these fatalities involve mostly tigers and bulls, but there have been great white shark attacks as well. So there's so you can get murked off here by any number of different types of shark. Yeah, and the island itself was the location for over 16% of the world's fatal shark attacks between 2011 to 2016. So between that period, that really short period, it accounted for 16% of the global fatalities, which is crazy. And a study in 2015 also recorded that, as a remarkable statistic, that out of every million people on Reunion, 3.15 people died of a shark attack, which you compare that to like South Africa is 0.76 and America is 0.0013 per million. So this is indeed quite an anomaly. And in fact, in 2013, because of these fears, and they stopped surfing competitions, and they actually banned surfing, and swimming was completely banned outside of the island's relatively safe coral lagoons. That's the only place you can swim now or surf. The rest of the island has been banned. Not that stops people, and we'll go into that in a minute. But yeah, the attacks increased by a factor of 23 since the 1980s. So from the 1980s onwards, maybe because of more tourism or population and a few other factors, that you had this massive boom in shark fatalities. So yeah, we'll go over an attack. So this attack took place recently, so 2019, so not that long ago, May the 5th. There was a guy surfing here, Turtle Point, Colonia, Reunion, just on the west side there. Yeah, and this guy Kim, 28 years old, he was surfing, and it's believed that he was either killed by a bull shark or a tiger shark in the afternoon. 5 o'clock, 5:09 in the afternoon. He's probably in around sort of 10 meters, 30 feet of water, and just off the break, maybe 40 meters offshore, maybe 120 odd yards offshore. Yeah, and the water there is really warm, sort of 26 degrees, and injury was fatal, unfortunately. And he was surfing with a group of his friends, and actually the local officials had actually warned that area was now entering into sort of like the southern hemisphere winter during sort of the seasonal cooling of the seawater, and this is like a transitional period between summer and in the south hemisphere and the winter, bringing southern swells. And these southern swells bring, water sport enthusiasts into the area, but they also bring the bull sharks. So the bull sharks move closer to the shore. So the officials had do try and warn people, and Kim, unfortunately, and his three friends didn't heed that warning, and they went out surfing on May the 5th in the afternoon. And his three friends are actually wearing shark repellent devices, but Kim either, I think his was maybe defective, that's what I've read, and he didn't wear it, or he didn't seek to find a replacement, so he went in the water with no shark repellent device, and his three friends did have those devices. And then while they were surfing, he was out on the break, and a large shark came up, believed either a bull shark or a tiger shark, and it just tore his leg off completely, and it severed his femoral artery, and he bled to death, unfortunately. So yeah, that's a shocking end to a young life. But his friends were unable to reach him, but his body was recovered later, and the media reports blame a bull shark for the attack, but the history and the current releasing of some sea turtles in the area suggests that maybe it's possibly a tiger shark, but it was never confirmed, and his death was actually the 24th since 2011 at that point. And there has been another attack since then, maybe two, I think, since then. And some local guys were quite angry with Kim, because that he was told that you should never surf in the afternoon, because the water becomes murky, and you're more likely to get attacked, although you're not meant to be surfing anyway. But like the locals who do surf will only surf in the morning, and these guys who went out on this fateful day didn't heed that warning, and unfortunately paid the piper. So yeah, but why I wanted to explain in a bit more detail is maybe why is there reasons for this? Why is Reunion have so many attacks compared to other places in the world, or maybe even Mauritius, is the island next door? So the first hypothesis I'll go into is like this thing called the Shark Highway, where sharks are believed to migrate from sort of Australia to South Africa, and potentially this is one route along the way, this Shark Highway, so they migrate between different seasons, maybe following different prey patterns or food. So this is one theory, and this coincided with the time of this attack, so possibly that's one idea. The next one is to do with the underwater geology or bathymetry. So I mentioned that these are volcanic islands formed on a hotspot, and Mauritius is actually older than Reunion. So Mauritius was formed around 8 to 10 million years ago, but Reunion was actually formed a little bit sooner than that. I think it's between 2 to 5 million years ago. So what this has done is given Mauritius a more mature reef and coral system. So you can see the difference, where Reunion has a much bare coastline, whereas Mauritius has a much more developed reef system, which provides a natural barrier to larger sharks. So the larger sharks at Reunion can get close in, whereas Mauritius they can't. So this is another reason. Maybe the third reason, they say that they're potentially in Reunion, in these populated areas, there's more coastal runoff effluent into the water, which obviously attracts bull sharks. Then you've also got global reduction in fish stocks. And then also sharks are hunted on Mauritius, but not on Reunion. Shark meat is banned on Reunion. So, and there's also some conservation efforts in Reunion. I think in 2007 they created like a protective marine zone, and they banned shark meat. So some people blame that for the increase in attacks since 2007. So they sort of blame the conservation efforts. And also that where people surf, they surf over the reef mainly to hit these breaks, which causes the waves, and that's a main hunting ground for these sharks. And obviously surfing, they mimic the prey, potentially the turtles and stuff like that. So that's maybe another factor. But I mean I think all these factors culminate in Reunion being the kill box really of the shark world, where I think if you mess around out here, you like this guy unfortunately who got killed, you can't mess around basically, because there's just too many sharks out there, and you will get killed. Yeah, but I think, my own personal opinion, I think this reef system has a lot to do with it. This actual natural barrier that nature has created, where you're safe inside these lagoons where larger sharks won't venture in. So I think for me this is probably the main reason, but you might have your own thoughts on it. But would I go surfing or swimming in Reunion? I wouldn't have thought so. So yeah, you can take your own chances, but I personally wouldn't swim here. So there you go. Yeah. So there's loads of other attacks in Reunion we can cover on other videos. There's some other nasty ones, but I thought I'd show this one because just to show that this guy just didn't follow the instructions. Basically, I don't know whether it's hubris or whatever. But he obviously, maybe he just wasn't thinking. But they didn't really follow the rules or the guidelines potentially, and they paid the ultimate price. But there you go. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that one. Short one. So yeah, take it easy. Take care.